I'm a bird, mother. I'm a bird.
Get Woke, Go Broke. PlayStation DEI team game Concord flops and show media runs damage control. Wow, this was hard to read.
That's a whole mouthful.
Well, as promised, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to document all of the coping and seething we are going to be witnessing when it comes to Concord, the new DEI team shooter that PlayStation and Firewalk Studios has decided to now release soon. In August, I believe it releases. This DEI team shooter has been failing miserably in both of its betas. It had closed beta, which barely hit 1,200 players, and now it has open beta, which barely hit 2,400 players. This game is such a massive failure that now, at the time of filming this video, it is dropped to about 500 to 600 players in an open beta where their game is completely free to play.
Did you guys give up? Have you had enough pain?
Never.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
Same.
Love that fucking movie.
Also, why is that my energy? Did you have enough? Never.
Never.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about 500 to 600 players, most of which are journalists and developers that are playing this Concord game, basically so desperate for this game to succeed because it is their ideological puppy, right? This is their game that they need to succeed so that they can push this whole DEI mantra out there and pretend like it's going to make them money. Well, I love the fact that all of these journalists are coping and seething, but some of them have to come around and admit that this game is going to be a failure. And I have two article examples to show you exactly just that. So let's get into this article. Before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it and like the video to push us out into
Oh,
that
we're already
YouTube algorithm.
subscribed.
So it says you really shouldn't have already written off Concord on PS5 and PC. It's the fascinating mix of Team Fortress 2 and Destiny that you never knew you needed. Hear me out.
I don't think we
okay?
need that. He said,
But-
hear me out in lowercase letters? No.
But wasn't the problem that the gameplay was just too repetitive and too boring and just there was nothing new introduced? That it was literally just not interesting to play. Like, even besides the DEI, the gameplay was just not good.
No. If the shooting aspect was good or at like above average, people would have flocked to it, even like ignoring the quote unquote DEI stuff, you know?
Sure. Sure. Of course. What do you guys think is the chances that this person, Fran Ruiz, was bought and paid for? What do you think is the chances, ladies and gentlemen? Let's be real. If this is your notion on Concord, I gotta be honest with you, it's pretty fucking obvious. It says the Concord beta, it's opening its doors this weekend for everyone. And I can't wait to jump back into it after last weekend's test, which is something I wasn't expecting to say. Sure you weren't. Sure you weren't. I was baffled, as most viewers, by the game's confusing reveal in June, which spent a few minutes trying to convince players we were learning about a new AAA, single-player sci-fi adventure, only to drop a first-look gameplay on us that looked like every riff on Overwatch that's come and gone without glory for the last 8 years or so. After spending 5 or 6 hours with the beta, however, I am really vibing with this identity and firmly believe PlayStation and Firewalk Studios just fumbled the initial marketing push. Well, listen.
It's a clear-cut example. You provide a cookie-cutter game that has no added value to the market or generating interest with its gameplay, because the gameplay is so repetitive that it could literally be copy-paste from any other game. People will not play it.
Yeah.
I will give you that, right? I will give you the fact that Concord absolutely fucked up the marketing because they decided to lead their marketing with diversity, equity, and inclusion. They decided to tell people how stunning and brave the game was going to be with pronouns and whatnot, and how you could find out the stories about relationships and all that shit. Who gives a fuck about who is having sex with who?
Wait, the fuck?
Whoa, hold up.
They decided to tell people how stunning and brave the game was going to be with pronouns and whatnot, and how you could find out the stories about relationships and all that shit. Who gives a fuck about who is having sex with who?
Wait. Is it this reason why it
I have no idea, but I know sure as fuck I wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, if you fucking do the pew pew, very good pew pew, okay, we in. But there's no good pew pew, there's no point.
in a team shooter. But again, this is what they decided to market the game with. So of course people were immediately turned off and they just completely shunned the game. I will give you that, but at the end of the day, the game is just complete trash. That's just what it is. Like, the game is, you have a $40 game, okay? Even if the game was as good as Overwatch and as good as Valorant, right? Let's say it is. I'll give you that part of your argument. It doesn't matter. You have 3 options, 2 of which are free to play, and 1 of which says, hey, give me money. Give me $40 before you can play. Who do you think the majority of players are going to choose in that particular, you know, little choice that they got to make?
Fair enough.
They're going to pick the free-to-play game. Why the fuck would you spend $40 to get a subpar or similar experience that you can get for free from your competitors?
Should've went to free-to-play
Nobody with a
then.
brain would do that. Everybody knows that they would go free-to-play 100%. It says, mind you, even a cheeky alternative to Overwatch, now dubbed Overwatch 2 and offered as a free-to-play title in hopes of returning the IP to its former glory after several creative missteps, would be half attractive with a firm, solid, playable approach that came across as different enough. The first gameplay reveal, however, felt like a mix of We Have a Guardians of the Galaxy at home meets the Overwatch clones that have struggled to make an impact over and over again. Moreover, the $40 price tag on Concord is scary, even if the promise is avoiding the shit MTX altogether. In the future, press X to doubt. Again, the $40 price tag is the biggest death note to this game. There's nothing else that is a bigger death note. The whole $40 price tag is what's going to keep this game dead on arrival the moment it releases. And then it says, after spending much time with the generous roster of the characters, the full thing planned for launch actually met.
I genuinely thought this game was free to play up until this video.
I thought it was free to play as well, because no one's gonna fucking play trash like that.
It's easier to release a game for free and just make your money back through the purchases of cosmetics rather than releasing a game for full price and then crash and burn and reduce the price to try to recoup the finances.
Remains one of the best if you can find in free-to-play games today. Roles are far more defined than in current iteration of Blizzard's hero shooter, which kind of flattened much of the unique feeling of each class type over the years. And there's a renewed focus on teamwork and stacking passives and not just active abilities on top of each other versus whatever Bungie is doing with Destiny 2 these days outside the game's co-op side, its main component. So again, this guy thinks that this game is essentially the most amazing thing ever in the team shooter genre. Now, if you guys remember, I made a video yesterday about Concord. They came from Push Square. Well, the same person that wrote that particular article, or one of the same, you know, on the same website, they have to admit that this game's a failure. Like, they tried to shill just like the previous website we just.
Why does he look like some weird off-brand Hellboy?
That is definitely off-brand Hellboy.
Just Showcase tried to shill. Well, they realized that that's not exactly going to be working, right? Like, after a certain point, you got to admit the numbers are fucking terrible and it's not looking good. Well, it looks like they finally admitted that. Concord's free-to-play open beta is performing abysmally on PC from Push Square. It says Concord is a good game, but sometimes being good isn't just enough anymore. After attracting some pathetic.
If it would be good, it would attract more people.
16 player numbers during its closed beta, which admittedly required participants to pre-order the game. Firewalk Studios' free open beta is not doing much better. According to Steam DB data, the team peaked at just 2,388 concurrent players this weekend.
Oof. And that figure has fallen as low as 557 concurrent players during off-peak times.
Holy shit. God damn.
Someone call the repo man.
And that figure has fallen as low as 557 concurrent players during off-peak times. Ladies and gentlemen, this game during open beta, a team shooter, okay? I need you guys to realize this is not a PvE game. This is not a single-player game. This is a team shooter, which means you need a lot of people to be playing in order to even enjoy the game. If you don't have a ton of people playing this game, you have less than 600 people playing this game. That means that when you queue, you're going to be playing against basically the same players fairly often. It's going to get really, really annoying and really boring very quickly, and that's going to kill this game right off the bat. It says Twitch.tv viewership is also pretty low, attracting just 71 viewers at the time. Holy shit.
What?
71 viewers at the time of writing this article. Only 71 people are watching this game on Twitch, ladies and gentlemen.
Holy shit.
I don't know how much more pathetic you can get other than that. If even the
That's
wokies
not
over
pathetic,
at
that's
Twitch are
sad.
not watching this DEI team shooter, this is more proof that the wokies do not support what they say they will support on Twitter. You're more likely to get a like and retweet on a Concord post than you is for them to actually buy the game. Right? Like, they're not actually going to buy the game. Most of them are not going to shell out $40 for this game. If it was free to play, you would have been a lot better off, probably. But look at these numbers. You're only averaging about 2,400 people at the peak for this game while it is currently free to play. You only have about 500 to 600 people playing this game while it's free to play. So people have basically called out your bullshit right off the bat. They can see a DEI oriented game through and through right from the beginning. And you could take your pronoun fucking bullshit and shove it up your ass, because that modern audience that you are basically sacrificing your studios for, that you're wasting money for, the same modern audience that you're trying to say is the audience, they're nowhere to be found. They're never anywhere to be found. We don't know where they're at. If you think 500 to 600 people playing your DEI team shooter is a modern audience, well, I got a lot of news for you, and it's not good. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video.
Not good.
The game journal is desperately inflating viewerships. Dude, it's only 71. Just let it die, bro. Just let it die. No.
I need to repurpose my meme of,
And the
stop it, he's already dead.
Yo, and Wicked is like, the 71 people are probably the devs. No.